Thank you for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We're delighted to have you with us. You know, we're just going to do what we do. We got a great show lined up for you, including an interview with Zak1 and V-Boy. And, of course, music industry news and beats produced by me, Achickwitbeatz. I'm excited about the show. How about you, Breezy?
Oh, man, I'm in. I'm all excited. It's that time of year. Hey, the flow is on. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, warmer weather and everything just got people feeling good. Spring is here, summer's on the way, and yeah, just ready to do this, right?
That's right.
All right,
So
let's go. Zak1 and V-Boy in the virtual building with us today. How are you doing?
Hey, we doing good. Good morning, y'all.
Yeah, we just vibing.
Yeah, so if you could, take a moment to let our listeners know who you are, how long you've been doing what you do, and what actually drew you to music in the first place.
Zach, you want to hit him?
Sure, yeah. So I go by the name of Zak1. This is my partner in crime, V-Boy. For myself, I've been doing this over 20 years. My son was born in 99 and I was rapping before he was born. So that's how I can kind of gauge it. But I just, what brought me to doing it was just knowing that I had something going by spitting for the homies for, the first time. They just kind of went crazy. And ever since then, I just kept going. And I always had a love for it, love for hip hop, love for writing. I was, it was my strong point in school, English, literature. I suck at math, but, English was always strong for me. So, that part. And then let's see, what was the rest of the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, just basically like who you are and what you do. You pretty much got everything covered. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. V, go ahead then.
Yeah, so this is V-Boy right here, Bay Area representative, California native, came up, started rapping. My homeboy Mac put me on when I was maybe 8 or 9, and he used to ghostwrite for me till I was 12, and I started trying to get my own swag, but some of my lyrics back then, definitely needed work, but we just progressed and keep working on things. I came out with my first album in 99. And we, the Bay Area is known for the independent hustle. So we used to just press our own product, and we used to, stamp our own stuff and just throw it out the trunk and try and sell it at malls and whatnot. And we got a little push out here working with big artists out here like Andre Nicotina, Mac Dre. We got YouTube presence, we're on Spotify, everything like that. And to be real honest, I took it real quiet for about 8 years. I wasn't making music, and Zach pulled me back in, and now we're just trying to grind and get this thing going and move this positive message and just show people a different side of street hip hop out here on the West Coast.
Man, those are great stories. I love hearing the origin stories and the drive behind it. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
No doubt.
Yeah, so both of you have been doing this for quite a while. What's the main thing that you want your listeners to get out of listening to your music?
At this point, we're just trying to really push a positive message because we've done wrong for too long. So, we was raised in the game and all that good stuff, but or maybe I should say bad stuff. But anyway, I kind of felt like I polluted a lot of people's brains with some of my music and some of the lifestyles I was living, and I feel like a way of getting back, to a positive side and trying to lead people the right way is through my music. It's definitely a gift from God that I was given. And I know B feels the same. That's why we came together on this project. But it's a whole different kind of project we put together this time where it's very growth oriented for the youth and for ourselves as well. Just trying to show that we can do positive things through our music and still be, relative to what's going on around us and what's going on in the streets and the neighborhoods. So definitely just trying to show a different side and do something different and, spread positivity.
Yeah, basically, for me, I was not doing much, and Zach had just he had been in the church for a few years, but he had hit me up and he had said, hey, how would you feel about getting back and doing some music? And I was just, doing my thing, working with my kids and whatnot. It had been a minute since I've been involved. And I said, I don't know. And he goes, we should do something positive. I said, yeah, I don't vibe with a lot of positive hip hop. And he was like, so that's the trick. How can we make stuff that people can slap in a hood, feel comfortable with the music, sonically, the beats, everything, but have a message that may turn some kids' heads in a different direction? Because, I came up listening to NWA, Cool G Rap, Big L, all these people, and then Too Short, whatnot, and we grew up poor. We're from the mud, but it's I had other options. I could have did better, but years later, you're a felon, you got a strike, you damn near been to prison, back out before jail, and you're like, I wanted something different, so I changed my life, and I figured, how can I do this to make music so that maybe this next generation coming up, instead of just watching YouTube and being like, I want to drill like that dude, then maybe they might say, oh, well, look at some people that did it, what they went through, their fall from grace, and how they built themselves back up. Maybe I could run it like that.
Man, you guys are coming with some powerful stuff. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Breezy?
Yeah, we'll see. What attracts me the most is the fact that you got up and off the ground running, and then that pause came in. Okay, so 6, 7, 8 years or whatever with the pause, and then you reunited. Well, see, that's what I'm looking for in this type of element. See, when you paused, a whole lot of other things were going on, and see, your talents were mellowing, your brain was mellowing, your heart in it was mellowing. Okay, so when that pause ended and you got back together, see, you guys were energized. You guys had an element that a lot of other groups are searching for, but they don't have. Achickwitbeatz and I, we're in this element, and we see a lot of the young folks, no disrespect or whatever, but we see a lot of young folks come out the box and they're so raw that they really don't know what they're doing. And if they don't have anybody to guide them, then they're all over the place.
It's true.
Like you that come along, and then you got to pause, you mellow out, and you get back to see, you got the total advantage because you know the direction you want to go. You planned what you want to do, and so forth. So I'm all in with this. I'm all in.
Right on, man.
Right on.
We're all in with you guys too. It's love.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's great that you guys recognize what's happening and you're actually doing something about it. That's, like I said, it's just very powerful. And so you kind of gave us the essence behind the project. Could you give us any more details about what people can look forward to and what they can expect?
Zach?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we, as V said, we got together and did this project with, the intentions of uplifting people instead of going the other way with the music, because we do have a gift. And so with that gift, we want to just give back. And in order to do that, we of course, we had to come with topics that were, beyond what the average rapper is rapping about nowadays, which, we stayed away from the guns and the violence and the gang activity and, the glorifying of anything negative. So it was a challenge. I am Christian in my faith. And so it was a little more of a challenge for Vince, I believe, than it was for me, because I was already doing some gospel music. Yeah. But I kind of just led the way with him. At first, like he said, he didn't know if he could do it, and I knew he could, and I think deep down he did too. But I just we started gathering some beats with everything in mind that I mentioned, and I kind of just started leading the way with some hooks and verses, and Vince caught on, and he's like, "Yo, I could do this. This is something I can vibe with." And so, we got topics on there. I got a song where we're talking about, apologizing to my mom for all of my childhood and some of the turbulent times I had with that. We got a song for our children. We got a song that we're pushing right now. We just dropped a video for called "I Made It Out," just talking about how we made it out the game.
Down on YouTube.
Yeah, and so it's got a really good push right now. We're getting a good reception, despite the difference in the music nowadays. A lot of people are receiving it well, and I feel like our message is really getting to people. It's really resonating with a lot of people, because when you've been through something, you can relate more to what the people are talking about. It's not like we're talking about something we don't know about. So trying to uplift the youth and tell them there's a better way to do things, and show them, not just tell them, but actually put that template out there for them to check out.
Yeah, if I could piggyback off that. So the album is called Parallel Universe. You can find it on Spotify and other streaming platforms under V-BOY or Zak1. Essentially, yeah, that was it. Like, when Zach came at me, I just said, "Hey, look, every time I put a pen to paper, I'm out the game, because every time I put a pen to paper, it sticks and bricks, and I don't know how to create this other way and make it palatable for young kids, because that's what they want to hear. And he was like, V, I know you got it in you. I know you got it in your wheelhouse. You can do this. And I'd come with a couple 16s and he'd be like, it's close, but it's not there. You're still a little aggressive, a little braggy. Tone it down a bit. Let's go. And once I got into that groove, I was like, there's a way that I could talk about everything that people want to hear and not have it sound too preachy. It's amazing how when you want to speak to somebody, at first you got to tantalize them. You got to it's almost like the carrot in front of the mule. You got to bring them in. And if you don't have something pleasing to the ear, because I had told Zach when we hooked up, I said, look, I'm really vibing with a lot of this modern rap. I know a lot of people our age in our 40s are like, mumble rap is, is bad and all this stuff. But I vibe with a lot of what goes on nowadays. I dig the new music. So I was like, Zach, if we get back in, I don't want to sound dated. I don't want to sound like some old people rapping. Like I love Snoop Dogg, but when I hear Snoop Dogg, I'm like, this sounds like some old rap. So I'm just saying, I was like, we need to keep it a little more modern. And I think we did that. We got trap style. I think it's stuff that could vibe in the South. You can go to Atlanta and the Swats. You could listen to this. You go to Detroit. We got stuff from producers from Detroit. So, I mean, it's a really good project. We're all over YouTube, and we are getting a good push. When we pull up and shoot these videos, no cops come and break it up, nothing, because it's community driven and they're loving it, and we're just getting support from all kinds of people, and they're coming out and they're just smashing on the like button for us, and we appreciate it.
That's a beautiful thing. Kudos to you guys for doing that. That's really honorable.
Right on.
Don't you agree, Breeze?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, see, this is one of those refreshing times, okay? And so it's a celebration time because, you guys are walking softly but carrying big sticks, okay?
There you go.
So yeah, so there's a definite audience out there that's just waiting and listening, and they're just eager for you. So you're heading in you're in the right direction, not just headed in the right direction. You're in the right direction. So keep going.
Brother, I got one thing I want to say about that too. Is just for us, me and Zach, we're over 40, and seeing DMX pass away and Black Rob this week and all that stuff. Rest in peace to them. I feel like as you get older and your music tastes mature, doesn't mean you need to give up this hip hop thing. I've never listened to anything in my life other than hip hop. I was born in 1977. The first album I ever got was a Fat Boys tape, and I've never listened to anything but hip hop. And there's no reason why I have to give up this art because it's supposed past me. It's not past us. Hip hop is in our heart, and when I heard the Ballad of OJ by Jay-Z, I knew that there was a lane for mature hip hop, and that's what we're really trying to trailblaze right now. It's just more of this, because we are the first generation of people to get Social Security while listening to hip hop. It's coming. So Chuck D, all these people, they're much older now. There's no reason why we need to put the mic down. We can keep this moving.
Right. That's an excellent point. Hip hop is the only genre that suffers from ageism like that. And that's something that I firmly believe in, that, it should grow with you. And as we grow, we do want to hear different stuff. So I think, you mentioned before, like how, a lot of people in a certain age range, they only like the golden era. They don't really like the new stuff. And I think it's just because they feel the contrast and it might make them uncomfortable. So if there is more variety, with some of the new stuff, it probably wouldn't, be so conflicting. But people grow, the music needs to grow with them.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah. So, we want to thank you guys for coming through. And we want to make sure that before, we got a few minutes left, but before we close out, that, the listeners know what they can expect from you in the future, and where to follow you and all that good stuff.
Right on. I'll go. So we got the Parallel Universe album out now on Spotify, everything, videos up on YouTube, more videos coming. Be on the lookout for my solo album, Death of a Salesman, which will be out somewhere in early June. More videos there. And I'll let Zach talk to you about what he's doing. I just want to say thank you very much for having us, and we feel blessed just the fact that you guys even had us on for a little bit, so we appreciate it.
Amen. Yeah. You can find V-Boy on Instagram at VBoy650. You can find me on Instagram at official Zak1. That's ZAK with a 1. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook artist page, all that good stuff. And, like V was saying, you can find the new project, Parallel Universe, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all the good outlets. It's definitely a good pickup, a good buy, or even a good listen if you just want to listen. We got 2 videos up right now on YouTube. Made It Out and What For. Getting a good push with those. And we got a lot of old music too, if you want to hear about the old us and what we came from. We do have another collaborative project we did back in 2010 called B-Boys to D-Boys. And yeah, so one quick thing I wanted to put in there was the parallel universe. The whole concept behind that was just kind of like the parallel universe idea about looking at yourself from another, having another you somewhere else. Is kind of like we're looking at ourselves in another universe, and this is like who we are now, and we're looking at the old us like, man, you guys been bumping your head a whole lot, need to go a different direction. But yeah, so basically in a nutshell, that's the links where you can find us. So check us out. Don't be afraid to comment, leave the likes, the subscribe. We'll subscribe back and all that good stuff. So we just want to shout out Music Marvels for having us. Breezy, Achickwitbeatz, y'all keep doing your thing. We appreciate and love the love, and we reciprocate that right back to y'all.
Well, thank you. We'd love to have you guys back again sometime in the future.
Right on.
And so, Breezy, you have any, last minute thoughts or comments that you want to share? Questions?
Yeah. See, this has been extremely refreshing. Okay, and to come from a different direction. It's not just the run of the mill, and so I'm really enjoying you guys to the max. And so keep doing what you're doing. I know, time is short on what I have to say or what I can say, but it's just all positive. It's all positive. So I'm really enjoying y'all. So keep going to the max.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Very well.
All right. So before we close out, are there any lasting thoughts that you want to leave with our listeners?
Just keep rocking good hip hop and keep supporting anyone that's trying to do this, that's got a good sound to them, and try and be positive, and blessings. Yeah,
keep tuning in to Music Marvels. Showing them love. Achickwitbeatz. I know I'm gonna have to get with you on some beats, and I know you charging. I know I ain't trying to get nothing for free. Trust me. I see the post. I know what's going on.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we will hit your PayPal with some greenbacks. Don't worry about it.
That's what's up.
All right. One love, guys. One love. Thanks for having us.
One love. Thank you. Can't wait to have you guys back.
Most stuff. Peace.
Right on.
Peace. All right, and that was Zak1 and V-Boy. It was a pleasure to have them on. I just really appreciated their energy, their positivity, and what they're doing for the game. The grown folks rap and all that good stuff, like they were saying. It's just nice to have that variety, to have something that you can just kick back and listen to that makes you feel good. And kudos to them for what they're doing, and it was great having them on.
Yeah, I'm gonna call them the negotiators, because they negotiated that thing really good.
Well, Steph. All right, we're gonna get into some beats by yours truly, and then we'll be right back with music industry news, tips, and all that good stuff for you artists out there listening. Or if you know an artist, stick around, stay tuned, grab your notebook, your pen and pad, whatever you got to do to make sure that you jot this down, because it's always good information to help you figure out how to navigate the music industry and your career. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back with music industry news. I figured, you know what? Let's just start overseas across the pond and talk about what's going on over there. So there's a cannabinoid company that's backed by Snoop Dogg headed for an IPO in London. An IPO is an initial public offering, just in case you're not familiar with what that is. So they're going public. People will be able to invest in the stock. If it's something that you're interested in, cannabis has been a booming industry lately. And so what they're doing, so this is Oxford Cannabinoid Technologies. So they've raised $23.4 million from, Snoop's investment fund called Casa Verde, other institutional investors, wealthy individuals, the Imperial brand. So, they got money coming in and they're about to open it up to the public. So what they're doing is developing a portfolio of 4 different drugs to potentially be licensed as pain meds in the US, the UK, and the EU. So, they're expecting commercial sales to be launched in 2027. And right now, the leader in pharmaceuticals is GW Pharmaceuticals. And so they typically use the actual cannabis plant to make their medicine. But unlike GW, the Oxford Cannabinoid Technologies is going to be chemically synthesizing the drug compounds. So it'll be a little bit different, possibly by synthesizing it. It may be able to kind of cut their costs a little bit. And so we'll kind of see how that plays out. But, if that's something that you're interested in, you definitely need to dig a little bit deeper, take a look, and, just see if it's worth investing. So it's kind of cool that Snoop Dogg is, continuing to expand his brand and, diversify his income. And, you got to watch what the majors are doing to know what kind of plays to make and that good stuff. So make sure you check that out. Once we have more information about that, we'll definitely share it with you.
Yeah, that's right. Because on the lookout, the average hip hop artist, indie artist, rap artist, period, you got to take a look at diversifying your income. The big guys do it, so there's no reason why you can't grab the knowledge and then do some of that yourself.
Most def. All right. And while we're overseas, the British music industry has said that Brexit has already been a disaster for British music. So, this was kind of anticipated at the time that it was announced. But, it's kind of far-reaching a little bit more than anybody could have expected. So originally, British musicians were free to travel and work throughout, the whole European Union, no problem. But now they have to navigate 27 different migration systems and visa requirements. 27. So visa-free touring is allowed in just 17 member states, but other countries have really specific requirements for non-EU performers. So Spain is one of those countries. So every musician must pay 600 euros per person per night to perform. Yeah. So, that's an unfortunate thing. Hopefully they can kind of renegotiate some stuff to kind of navigate around that. But, it's got some far-reaching stuff, like I said, that nobody could have predicted that it would actually be that bad. But, to our friends over there, stay strong, rock on wherever you can until all this stuff gets resolved.
I would make a comment. But let's keep the flow going.
All right. Okay, so now this is just it's an interesting story. A rapper posed on a SWAT truck during the Capitol riot and put it on his album, and now he's facing federal charges. So rapper Bugsy the Don decided to stop for a photo op the day of the Capitol riot. The image was sent to the feds and he was arrested days after his album was released. So he told investigators that he was already in DC for a video shoot. Then he went inside for additional photos once he saw people going in. So as of right now, he's facing 4 charges. 1, entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds. 2, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds. 3, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building. And 4, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. So, he saw an opportunity. He decided to seize it. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I saw the album cover. It's actually kind of cold. So, I understand the temptation, but yeah, it had repercussions that he wasn't necessarily expecting. So he also posted now deleted pictures on Instagram where he was in the Capitol, and then his friends let him know on social media, like, hey, we just saw you on CNN. So apparently after that, he decided to go ahead and leave, but it was a little too late. So yeah, right now the government's trying to subpoena Twitter and Facebook for access to his account to capture any other deleted pics that he may have posted in the midst of everything. And so his lawyer's trying to fight it, but we'll see what happens. So be careful, if you see stuff going on, you think, oh, this will make a great album cover. Ooh, I want to, share this. Because, yeah, his album is actually called The Capo. So, it's something that he thought at the time might have been a good idea, but now it's not looking so hot. So be careful with what you do in efforts to create your music and promote it. Just make sure you're not doing anything illegal. No matter how cold that picture look, nobody wants time for that. So keep it in mind.
Well, coming from a business background and corporate background, see, even the tiniest of artists, you've got to surround yourself with a ring of folks who have your best interest at heart. Okay, Create yourself a board where there's suggestions that are submitted on an ongoing basis. And so, when you have a board around you, they can block those things from happening. They can block you from making some really, really traumatic mistakes. And so if you don't have a board that you can rely on, you get off and fly off, do those kind of things without input from anyone else that you can respect. See, these things happen.
Yes, absolutely. And a good example of that is rapper Mo Fame of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta fame. We talked about him, I believe it was a few months back. So he pled guilty in the PPP loan fraud. So if you remember, he was accused of taking $2 million worth of the Paycheck Protection Program loan. So this was intended to help struggling small businesses during the pandemic, but he took it. He bought $85,000 worth of jewelry. He paid off personal debts and child support. And I mean, if you have that kind of money, why wouldn't you buy 8 trucks like he did? 8 trucks, the exact same truck, Breezy. The exact same truck, 8 times. So yeah, he took a plea deal. He pled guilty to 6 counts of federal bank fraud, and in exchange, they dropped the other 14 charges he was facing. So he had to cough up some of the money. It was close to $100,000 from multiple bank accounts, and he had to give up the 8 trucks that he purchased. So yeah, I mean, just like you were saying, it helps to have people in your circle to just be like, nah, just let's pull this back. Maybe you shouldn't do this. So, and that was money that could have went to, struggling artists. I mean, so many people that could have used it. There were a lot of people that didn't qualify for one reason or another, or, it just wasn't available by the time that they got there. So, it's unfortunate that he made that decision and didn't have people in his circle to warn him against that.
Yeah, we got to bring up that C word, and that's consultants. And, so no matter what field you're in, I mean, even the great Michael Jordan, we can always say the great Michael Jordan even had a coach, and he had coaches on top of coaches. Okay, so no matter how well you think you're talented, so on and so forth, it's that mental thing. So you got to surround yourself with consultants that can make sure you stay on the right road, and the road to prosperity, not the road to disaster.
Yes, so well said. All right, so we're going to take another quick music break, produced by yours truly, and we'll be right back with the second half of Music Industry News. right, and we're back with more music industry news. Universal Music Group is valued at $40 billion, which is actually more than its parent company, Vivendi. So Vivendi has a market value of just under $39 billion, according to some recent data. So at the end of the IPO process, the three biggest shareholders will be Vivendi at 20%, Tencent at 20%, and Bolor at 16%, unless, which was recently revealed, they are looking at selling an additional 10% to an American investor, which hasn't been, discovered exactly who it is just yet. But hey, it's big moves. That's a lot of money to be worth, especially for the label to be worth more than the entire parent company itself is really phenomenal. It lets you know, that the major labels are still pulling in money.
They're pulling it in, bro. They're pulling it in.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, all right, so there were several different headlines that just kind of covered the same topic. So this is kind of a catch-all right here, but the pandemic has amplified the music industry inequities that started to be felt like in the early 2000s. So everybody remembers, piracy was pretty rampant. I mean, things were just kind of haywire, and streaming, you let them tell the story, stepped in to save the day. So, it was helpful for some, but not for everyone. So the record labels are still pulling in money. We've got these headlines about, increases in streaming and in their revenue and all this other stuff that's going on just about every single week. So we know that the money's there. So why aren't the artists really seeing it? So, there's been a lot of groups that have kind of formed to address this, and, even including like unions and everything. So it was a problem before the pandemic, but like I said, it just kind of highlighted it, amplified it, because everybody's kind of pinching, feeling it from not touring and getting the live music revenue that they once were. So more artists had to rely on streaming. And so this brings up the topic, which is really important to know. So most of these streaming companies, we're talking Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, they use what's called a pro rata payment system. So, just to make sure, let's walk this pretty clearly, but pro rata is supposed to mean, it's Latin for proportional. So Breezy, what's your favorite popular artist?
Oh my gosh. Man, I'm into so many. And then plus, we get the extra zap right here because we are up close and personal with the breaking new artists. See, so, I can't even answer that question right now because I'm blessed to be in the mix with so many worldwide and upcoming and talented artists, so
okay.
I plead the fifth on that question.
Okay, well, let's say Beyonce, for example, then. So what happens, the money from these streaming services, so that's money collected from the subscribers and money collected from advertisers, all of this gets pulled together and then divided by the total number of streams for that month. So let's say if Beyonce had 5% of all streams for a particular month, Beyonce's going to get 5% of that entire pot for that month. So this essentially means that she's going to receive 5% of each user's money, even if they never listen to Beyonce when they go on to Spotify, Apple, or whatever. So let's say, using her as an example, Breezy, when you go on to check out Amber Simone or Oiku Thogan or some of our other talented artists that we've had on the show, even if that's all you listen to every time you go on those streaming sites, Beyonce is still getting 5% of the money that those companies receive from you.
Well, now on the other hand, that you got to point at the people who structured those contracts with those companies.
Absolutely. So, yeah, go ahead.
So it's like, okay, so who's actually running the flow? And see, a lot of times, no matter what business or industry it is, there's people behind the scenes that are pulling strings that the masses may not necessarily agree with, but you say, well, who are these people? How are they doing this? But they're managing to continue with their flow, and I'm sure it has to do with making sure that they get paid themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So this is crazy, but
yeah,
there's who's structuring these contracts with these companies? Whoa.
Yeah, and so you've got that going on, coupled with the way that these companies handle playlisting, which automatically favors the major popular artists. So it inhibits the possibility for independent artists to get more discovery. So, the system's really busted, and people are, working for it towards rectifying it. So with all these organizations coming together and speaking out, hopefully there could be some change. But yeah, we've discovered that a lot of people don't know exactly how this payment works. Not to mention, if you've got a record label on top of that collecting the money before it even gets to you. So yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be restructured, just as you said. And just something to keep an eye on. And the more we know, the more we'll share. And we're gonna so we're gonna break into some music by yours truly, and then we'll be back to close out the night with you. That's a wrap for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We can't wait to do it again next week, and we're so happy that you joined us and hope that you'll return when we come back to do it again, right?
Yes, and I got to throw this in, long time ago, there was a group called the Isley Brothers, and they came out with this song entitled Fight the Power, okay? You got to fight the powers that be, all right? So we don't know, hardly anybody knows who's behind all of this power in so many different industries, especially the music industry. So yes, I repeat what you say, stick and stay right here. All kind of music news coming for you. So thank you for what you do at Achickwitbeatz with bringing these news tips.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.